Alright, all you crazy stunners and adrenaline junkies out there, welcome back to Under the Radar. And now it's time to check out which one of you crazy stunners is dreaming of your next biggest stunt or gonna end up with a concussion while dreaming of something else as we leap into yet another edition of the wild world of stunts. And the first stunt that we have up comes from Brucey77777777, and we had to count the sevens to make sure it was the right amount of sevens for this, for his said stunt entitled Project 1. Now, Brucey here, who decided to be none other than Michael, or was it Franklin? Apparently, according to the maestro, it was Franklin, in the midst of rush hour traffic, holding up a whole bunch of cars with no people in it before we say this, folks, and would decide to take on the Los Santos Police Department with one grenade and a whole bunch of explosions. But unfortunately, after getting rid of the officers and sending them flying over the guardrail, he would forget the golden rule of explosions with a multitude of cars. Always make sure you're far enough away from the explosion itself, or you might get caught up in it. And yeah, he would get caught up in it. And how, folks? Well, let's just say that an Impala would fly up into the air and crush him right in the chest, his legs, and his pelvic bone, causing him to lie down in the ground in a heap as another car would try to race forward and explode too. And according to the doctors over in the corner, the police officer that went over one side of the barrier, he suffered second-degree burns. But the other one that went over that other barrier on the other side fell about a good, 3 stories to the dirt and suffered a broken shoulder and a fractured skull. Yeah, he didn't get burned, but he sure enough got hurt. Ouch. And for Franklin, everything from the waist down is broken. So yeah, he's in a half a body cast. And the next stunt that we have up comes from Pt.3. Nice name, by the way, with his said stunt, P-O-E-P. Poep? I don't know. Is that even a word? Well, either way, folks, 2 of the FIB agents in secret, better known as Mike and Ike, and no relation to the candy folks, would end up cruising down the street doing wheelies, listening to a classic tune from the video game of Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, until Ike decided while wheeling with one hand to fly off the side of the Los Santos freeway, landing on one wheel, still doing the wheelie like what, maestro? Like a glove! And would just keep driving along while listening to the classic theme of Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. Now, if that's not the coolest FIB agent I have ever seen, I don't know what is. And as a matter of fact, Maestro's writing down that idea of Mike and Ike for a crime-fighting duo for the Indie Awards. Nice! I should have thought of that before. Thanks! And besides FIB agents that will become legend in a couple of weeks, the next stunt that we have up comes from none other than Nomiite with their said stunt, Get Out of My Car. Now, at the same time, I would say it's more or less a boat than a car, and it would feature none other than a guy that goes by the name of Kyle and a girl that goes by the name of Judy being lifted up in the air by the helicopter pilot that goes by the name of Jeff. And Jeff here, who was jealous of the whole romance going between the two, decided to lift up the makeshift boat out of the water, causing them to jump out saying, "I'm getting out of here!" For one to fall on their head and the other one to fall on their back in the water, which at that height is like concrete. And then just for an extra bit of dose of ouch, he would decide to release the boat and the boat would fall on both of them and hit them both in the legs. Ouch! Ouch! And according to the doctors, not only did they suffer a concussion, but once again, broken legs. Very broken legs. and if it wasn't for the lifeguards, they would have drowned from their injuries. Thank goodness for lifeguards and first responders, especially with stuff like this. You hate to see it happen. And the next stunt that we have up comes from the stunner Vortex BMX, nice name by the way, with their stunt Project 167. And in this said crazy stunt, folks, features none other than Carl over here trying to ride his chopper to the other side of what appears to be Ponzi Boys? You know, that very expensive clothes shop that only very expensive people would go to, and would figure out a new way to make his way there, cause he would go from the top of the mall complex, do a little bit of a 50-50 grind, pop into the air, and land on the side of the building not once, not twice, not 3 times, but 4 times, folks. Like what, Maestro? Like a glove? Only for him to do a burnout on the side of the roof with his final attempt being absolutely perfect. And yeah, the PR department along with the Maestro and myself decided to give this stunt a 10 and would tell everybody at home that this is a constant reminder of at first you don't succeed in the wild world of stunts, try again until something breaks. Whether it's your pride, your spirit, or your bones. You pick. And the last but not least stunt that we have up for this week, speaking of bone breaking, folks, comes from the stunner known as Fantastic Fox, and fantastic spelled with 2 4s, a 1, and a C. Well, the C is normal, but everything is not. But besides his name, folks, with his stunt, Extreme Diving Part 1. And I got a feeling it's gonna be over after Part 1 because a man who calls himself Action Man, you mean like that guy who was a part of that Fox Kids show? Yeah, according to the Maestro, yeah. This guy decided to dive off the top of a truck right into the what appears to be the Fort Secundo River, and in his first attempt he would land and hit shallow water and not only break his hands but fracture his skull, but approximately 4 weeks later, or according to what the Maestro said, 4 months later, would be back at it again, diving off the top of the bridge, this time in water that is perfect for him to dive into, and would make a perfect 10 Olympic-sized splash into the water, doing the classic aero dive, I do believe. Yeah, the complete aero dive into the water for the Maestro and the PR department along with the doctors and myself to give this stunt a perfect 10. And according to the Maestro, he is extremely surprised of how quickly he recovered after that first jump. Yeah, so am I. Somebody getting fractured hands and concussion coming back that soon? Not bad. So good job, man. Good job. And if you guys want to check out any other crazy and zany stunts of people trying to get themselves maimed for unnecessary fame, you can go ahead and check it out on the Rockstar Social Club page, only known as socialclub.rockstargames.com, and just head on over to that video page to check out a whole bunch of crazy stunners who dreams big, go for big, and sometimes falls flat. B flat. Because that other guy who got crushed by that car, pretty sure that's the tune he was singing. And man, I should have used that joke. And with that said, folks, we might as well head back to music, and when we return, we'll be back with yet another edition of the GTA Online Top 5 Tracks of the Week, right after this. So don't go anywhere just yet, folks, and stay tuned.